Select all the ratios that are equivalent to the ratio 12:3. So I'm going to begin by simplifying the ratio 12:3, and I'll do that by dividing both of the values by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 3 divided by 3 is 1, and so the equivalent ratio here is 4:1. So by doing that, I've already found one of my equivalent ratios out of the choices that I have. From there, I can use that ratio, or I can use the 12:3 ratio, and through multiplication or division, I can come up with an equivalent one. For example, I might take the 12:3 ratio and try to see if I could multiply both the 12 and the 3 by the same number and get one of the new ratios. So if I do 12 times 2, that gives me 24. And then I'd have to multiply by 2 on this side also. So I would do 3 times 2, and that gives me 6. So 12 to 3 is equivalent to 24 to 6. So that's another equivalent ratio. Then I have the potentially equivalent ratio, which is 1,200 to 300. So I know that if I multiply both of these by 100, let's see what I get. Because I think that I'm going to get an equivalent ratio. So 12 times 100 is 1,200, and 3 times 100 is 300. So I do have another equivalent ratio. So I found all three of these sort of single ratios are equivalent. So when you choose from like combination ones down below, you have to make sure that you've picked all three of these. So I'm looking at the bottom one. If you got the bottom one incorrect, it's because you chose one that isn't equivalent. So we know that 4:1 is equivalent. We know that 24 to 6 is equivalent. We know that 1,200 to 300 is equivalent. And then this is where it sounds like you might have made an error. So perhaps you were checking this and thinking that you would divide both of these by 13. So if you divide 13 by 13, you'll get 1. So that was a good first step. The problem is if you then divide 112 by 13, you don't get 4. And that's where I think things went a little wonky. So when you do 112 divided by 13, you get 8.61 ... So you should not have chosen an option that included the ratio 112 to 13 because it is not equivalent to the ratio 12 to 3. And so because of that, that's why you had this wrong answer. It's possible that the reason you thought it was equivalent is because 112 and 13 look very similar to 12 and 3. Maybe you thought that you were just multiplying by a power of 10. So this is a matter, I think, of slowing down and being very, very careful, double checking your work and making sure that this ratio, the 112 to 13, does actually simplify. And in fact, it didn't simplify to what we were hoping for, which was 4.